I have a message for you guys today, and it's been rumbling around in my heart, and as I often do okay, so let me back up. I get up really early. I can't help it. Anywhere between 5:30 and 7. 6:30 is my favorite. 5:30 is like, why? And 7's like, what just happened? That's a shocker. But Chris likes to sleep a little bit later. So I respect that. I let him sleep, and well, he's up later too, so it all works out. I get my alone time. I process, journal, message a few friends, check in on Facebook, and schedule all my Facebook posts for the day in those early hours. But then when it's about 9 and I wake him up, then it's time for me to spill everything I've been thinking about. So this morning I spilled it all out to Chris, and we were processing this together and discussing it. And I just had to talk to you guys about this. I wonder how many times in our life we think what we're doing isn't good enough. It's not important enough. It doesn't matter. And we actually start reaching for something that we feel is actually more important. We think if I did that work, then, and maybe this is subconscious, but then maybe people would respect me. Maybe people would take me seriously, because what I do is it's just not that big of a deal. Here's the reality. When you think it's just not that big of a deal, what? It's easy. It means it's easy for you. You are uniquely gifted and talented and really good at what you do. Other people don't think it's just easy. Other people are in amazement at what you do. Now, maybe you're not feeling that amazement. Maybe you're not feeling their admiration. And let's be honest, sometimes it's because they're jealous or they're worried about their own stuff, right? We worry so much about what other people think about us, but the reality is they're dealing with their own crap. They're stressed out. They have burdens and things on their mind. They're probably not thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. So let me just apply this to my own life. When I started my music school, well, even let's go back further, everybody really expected me to be a musician. Everyone thought I would go to college for music. And just because they thought that, I didn't want to. My parents were musicians, and everyone said, well, of course you're going to be a music major because your parents. And I'm like, okay, that was the wrong thing to link it together. No, I'm not going to, of course, do anything. And especially not just because my parents are musicians. I'm sure that the real reason was they knew that I was a really good musician, but that's not what I was hearing. I was hearing that you would do something, you would follow in your parents' footsteps. And that just simply wasn't true. So I almost did not major in music. I really love writing, and I almost majored in journalism. But it was very, very clear, like from God at Bible camp, that I was supposed to major in music. And I was scared. And so even though people thought I was a really good musician, I was not super confident in my abilities. I didn't want to do what everybody just expected me to do. And I didn't want it to be too easy or too hard either. You know, it's kind of that paradox. And then when I started teaching piano lessons, I certainly had no intentions of making this my entire career. And it was really just to make money for our family. When my music school got even bigger, I was glad to meet that goal, but it didn't feel big enough to me. I just kept thinking, it's just a little music school. It's just here in Rogers, Minnesota. Like, what's the big deal? I want to impact more lives. So even though impacting all these students and having 600 students come through our doors every week and creating jobs for 20 plus music teachers and desk staff, even though that is incredible, it didn't feel incredible to me. And I'm just wondering, what are you doing in your life that feels like, it's not really good enough? It's not really a big enough deal. You know, maybe you clean houses and you're thinking, it's just cleaning houses. No, you're freeing up someone else to do other things. You're blessing them. You're allowing them to come home and love their home. You're allowing them to take that worry off their plate. What you do is very, very important and beneficial. Maybe your business is, let me think of something else, like a chiropractor, and you think you're not nearly doing enough work that you could, or massage therapist. Maybe you think it's just such a small thing. It's not this big corporate something executive, blah, blah, blah. No, what you do, okay, so I was thinking about that. You know, have you guys ever heard that illustration of someone, I can't even remember if it was the starfish, you know, they're throwing back in the ocean, and someone's like, what are you doing? And they said, well, these will die if they stay on the land. And they're like, well, there's millions of them. Like, how are you going to make a difference? And they threw it in the ocean and said, made a difference to that one. I always think of that because when you think, it's not merely making that big of a deal. No, it's a big deal to the person you're helping. It's a big deal to the person that you're impacting. So you may feel like you have a very small piece in what you're doing, but it's actually making a huge ripple effect. You have to just trust that God's using you, and it's not up to you to judge whether or not it's important enough. I always think of the illustration of a baby toe. If a baby toe is like, well, I'm just a baby toe, it's stupid, I don't really have a good role, my role isn't important, and maybe the baby toe tried to be a thumb. The baby toe doesn't know how to be a thumb. So nobody wins. When the baby toe does not think its job is good enough, it tries to be something that it's not designed for, and it fails at that, then nobody wins. It failed at being a thumb because it was never designed to be a thumb. The reality is the baby toe provides balance to this entire structure, this whole human being. It's very, very important to have a baby toe. And so maybe you feel like a baby toe. Maybe you feel like I'm just a baby toe. I'm not making that big of a difference. And I really wish I was a thumb. Maybe if you could just lean in and be the best baby toe possible, maybe you would, first of all, be fulfilled because it's easy. It's okay to do things that are easy. I don't know why we all think that it has to be hard and we have to try so hard. Just do what you are wired to do. Other people don't think it's easy. Other people don't know how to do what you do. So stay in the flow, stay in your strengths, do what comes naturally to you, and everybody around you wins. And they'll even say to you, how do you do that so easily? How do you do that so gracefully? And instead of saying, oh, it's not a big deal, it's easy, stop saying that. Just say thank you, because it's not easy to them. I want you to notice when people compliment you and say you do a good job at something, realize that you do, and it's not easy for them, and you're playing a unique role in this life. One of my friends posted a quote today, and it said something like the 2 causes of failure. I can't even remember the first one, but the second was too much effort. And everyone was like, I don't get it. What do you mean too much effort? That doesn't make sense. But I do. I get it because it's exactly what I'm talking about this morning. If you effort too hard, if you try too hard, that means you're not in your preferences. You're not in your own strengths. Honestly, success shouldn't be super, super difficult. Do you believe me? It shouldn't be. Success comes when you lean into how God wired you, your natural strengths and your natural abilities. And when you do what comes easily to you, success will actually come much faster. Now, caveat, we always keep learning, right? But it should be a learning that's like, oh, I got to get this, and then it becomes easy. So in all the marketing classes I've taken, all the even how to create videos like this, how to build websites, all the different things I've learned, it became easy. And if it didn't, I let go of it, okay? So when I tried to learn, Chris taught me how to create formulas in Excel so that one thing would do another, blah, blah, blah. And that was during a time when I was building our theater program that now my parents own. And I got it. I understood the formulas. I understood what he said, but it was really hard. Took me a lot of time, and I wanted to throw the computer against the wall. And now I couldn't do it to save my life. So do you get the difference? I could learn it, but it was hard and frustrating. And I did it for a season because he was working all day. I didn't have his assistance, right? That was just a different stage in our business. So I did what I have to do. And you could be there too. But then when you can, you let go of it and you release it, because I should not be in Excel. I should not be designing formulas. And Chris thinks they're magical and fun. Fine, let Chris do it because he's wired for that. Do you see the difference? He is supposed to do that because it comes easily and he thinks it's fun. I do not, therefore I should not be doing it. So failure can come as a result, actually, of you efforting too hard. It can. Success comes when you lean into who you are, what you do really easy, what comes naturally, and stop thinking it's not enough. Stop thinking it's not good enough. Somebody needs you. You can be an answer to someone's prayer. Right now, someone's praying for what you have to give. And if you think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's not good enough, they won't be blessed because it is about them. It's about helping them. And that's really what I believe. So that's my word for you today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.